Listen, what you do with your money right now, it's probably more important than it has ever been. It really feels like the world is on shaky ground, right? We've got potential wealth bubbles, constant uncertainty. It can seem like the odds are completely stacked against you. But here's the thing, they're not. In this explainer, we're going to break down 4 essential rules for building your wealth starting today. Okay, so just to put this all into perspective, you see this number on the screen? That's $16 trillion. That's the total household debt in the United States. In just one single quarter back in 2022, credit card balances jumped by $46 billion. And look, this isn't just some random statistic. It's a massive weight holding millions and millions of people back from ever reaching their financial goals. So that really brings us to the big question, right? In a world that feels so unstable, what is the absolute smartest move you can make with your money at this very moment? And you know what? The answers might actually surprise you, but they are absolutely crucial for your financial future. Okay, so let's jump right in. We're going to cover 4 really clear, actionable rules. We'll kick things off with what's called the humility principle. Then we're going to get into this kind of counterintuitive idea of spending to earn. After that, we'll talk about how to develop your financial spidey sense. And finally, we'll get to the fun part, the ultimate goal, building your empire. All right, first up, step 1, master humility. This is the absolute foundation of financial freedom, and it's all about your mindset before you even think about a single dollar. So get this, something like 72% of adults in America are on social media, and that makes it so easy to fall into that trap of keeping up with the Joneses. We see all this stuff and we feel this pressure to buy things we can't afford, a lot of the time just to impress people we don't even know. So the very first mental shift you have to make is to stop trying to impress strangers and start building the future you actually want for yourself and your family. It's all about buying what you can truly afford, driven by your vision, not by your social media feed. Okay, so a really practical way to put this humility thing into action is to just tackle your debt head on. The debt avalanche method you see here is one of the most efficient ways to get it done. You make your minimum payments on everything, and then you take every single extra dollar you have and throw it at the debt with the highest interest rate. Once that one's gone, you take all that money and roll it onto the next one. It creates this powerful momentum, like a snowball that just obliterates everything in its path, setting you free. You know this simple little challenge? It's actually a perfect way to see how powerful consistency is. Seriously, try it. On day 1, you save a single penny. Day 2, 2 pennies. Day 3, 3 pennies. You get the idea. By the time you get to the end of the year, just by adding 1 more cent each day, you'll have over $650. It just goes to show how these tiny, consistent actions can compound into really significant results over time. And that right there, that brings us to a really crucial point. Because while saving is fundamental, it does have a ceiling. I mean, you can only cut your expenses so much, right? But earning? Well, the potential to earn is basically limitless. And that insight is the perfect bridge to our second rule. Okay, so this brings us to step 2, spend to earn. And I know that sounds totally backward, right? But stick with me. Because a lot of times, going against what everyone else is doing is how you end up achieving way more than the average person. Just letting your money sit in a bank account, that is not the path to wealth. So you might be asking, why isn't saving enough? Well, check this out. It's kind of wild. According to one economist, 97% of the entire money supply is literally created out of thin air when banks issue loans. And guess what they use to back those loans? Yep, your savings. So when your money is just sitting there in a savings account, you're basically just helping the bank get richer. Now, an emergency fund is essential, for sure. But after that, your money needs to have a mission. And this is a perfect example. The source material tells the story about a young video designer named Curtis, who started out making just a couple $100s. But he strategically spent his money to earn more. He invested in cameras, he got a drone license, he learned skills like copywriting, and as you can see from this chart, with every new skill he added, his value in the marketplace and his income just skyrocketed. That is what spending to earn is all about. All right, so once you start earning more, you've got to protect it, right? And that brings us to step 3, developing your spidey sense. You know, just like Spider-Man knows when danger is coming, you need to develop a gut feeling for financial traps. Because believe me, there are a lot of sharks out there just waiting to take your hard-earned money. So here's the deal. You always have to question things. Here are 3 super simple questions you can ask. First, does it just sound way too good to be true? Remember all those crypto platforms offering insane interest rates that were just completely unsustainable? Yeah, they all collapsed. Second, is the actual benefit or utility clear? With most NFTs, the only real goal was to sell it to someone else for more money, and that's just a recipe for disaster. And third, are you being driven by logic or by emotion? A great little trick for this is the 7-day rule. Before you make any big purchase or investment, just wait a week. It gives you time to step back from that initial emotional rush and think clearly. All right, now let's talk about how all of this comes together for our final and honestly the most exciting step. Step 4 is where you take all these pieces and you use them to build your empire and really make your money start working for you. Just think about it like a snowball rolling down a hill, getting bigger and bigger. First, you clear out all your debt. Poof, you're free. Then you invest in your skills, and that makes your income grow. With that extra income, you start building a liquid portfolio of assets. And having that cash ready means you can seize opportunities when they pop up, which makes your snowball and your wealth get even bigger. Okay, but here's a really important distinction we need to make. A lot of people have a high net worth that's totally trapped in their family home. They're what you'd call house rich, but they're cash poor. A real millionaire, from this point of view, is someone with liquid wealth. They have a portfolio of stocks, other assets, things they can actually access. Ask yourself this: could you write a check for $1 million in the next few days? If the answer is no, your wealth isn't really liquid. And that right there brings us to probably the single biggest takeaway from all of this. If you only remember one thing, make it this quote right here: don't lock up your money. You can't build an empire if your entire team is always stuck on the sidelines. You have to let your money get in the game and play. So, I'm going to leave you with one last question to think about. Take a good, honest look at your own finances and just ask yourself, is your money out there on the field actively building your empire, or is it just sitting on the bench? The choice? It's all yours.